The story opens with black and white footage of a police investigation, accompanied by a narrator recounting the tragedy that befell 5 young people. Officers are seen recovering bodies and carrying them away on stretchers, while the faint sound of a baby crying echoes in the background. The scale of the case is staggering. Files have remained untouched in the cold case department for 3 decades, and more than 1,300 pieces of evidence were collected from the crime scene. Most shocking of all are the recordings of the investigation itself, which reveal officers entering the house to discover scratch marks on the walls, bloodstains, and human remains scattered throughout. This crime would go on to become infamous in American history, remembered as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The events began on August 18, 1973. A group of 5 friends was returning from a brief trip to Mexico, heading toward a Leonard Skinner concert. The group consisted of Erin, her boyfriend Kemper, their friends Andy and Morgan, and Pepper, a hitchhiker they had picked up the day before. Erin playfully teased Kemper about marriage, but when he reacted poorly, she tossed his joint out the window. Morgan reassured him by revealing they had more hidden in a piñata, 2 pounds of marijuana purchased during their trip, much to Erin's dismay. Kemper attempted to reconcile with Erin, but as he turned to kiss her, he nearly struck a woman wandering aimlessly in the middle of the road. Thanks to his friend's warning, he swerved just in time. The group stopped to help the distressed woman. Erin and Pepper persuaded her to join them in the van, promising to take her home. During the ride, she sat in the back, crying and repeating that they're all dead. When the van passed a slaughterhouse, she panicked, insisting they were going the wrong way, even lunging at Kemper to seize the wheel. After being restrained, she revealed she could not return because he's a bad man. Blood was visible on her thighs as she pulled a gun from between her legs and, after warning the group that they were all going to die, fatally shot her. Shaken, the friends exited the van to decide their next move. Kemper argued they should contact the police, but Morgan opposed the idea, fearing discovery of the drugs. To resolve the issue, Kemper threw the piñata of marijuana into a nearby field and apologized to Erin, explaining he had bought it to start a new life with her. The group then continued driving until they reached a gas station and diner. While Erin and Pepper went to the restroom, the others encountered Luda May, the woman at the counter. She phoned the sheriff for them as they noticed spoiled meat crawling with fleas in the refrigerator. Luda informed them the sheriff would meet them at the mill, though it might take 2 hours. Frustrated, the friends reluctantly complied. Upon arriving at the mill, they found it deserted. The boys suggested leaving the body there, but Erin convinced them to wait. Disturbed by movement in the shadows, they entered the building to investigate. Inside, they discovered unsettling decorations made of dolls and plastic skeletons, along with strange noises. When Kemper opened a closet, a possum leapt out, startling them. Further inside, they encountered a young boy named Yedidia, who begged them not to hurt him. Once reassured, he agreed to leave with them and explained that the sheriff was drunk at home nearby, accessible only by foot. Despite Morgan's pleas to abandon the body, Erin and Kemper set out to find the sheriff, leaving the others behind. As they departed, Yedidia attempted to prod the woman's body with a stick, prompting Andy to drag him away, causing the boy to flee. Erin and Kemper crossed the woods and reached an old house belonging to Monty, an amputee confined to a wheelchair. Though not the sheriff, Monty allowed Erin inside to make a call, while Kemper waited outside. Monty dialed the number and handed Erin the phone, even as Sheriff Hoyt was simultaneously arriving at the mill to inspect the van. After finishing the call, Erin attempted to leave, but Monty requested her assistance in returning to his wheelchair. She reluctantly followed him into the bathroom, unaware of a shadowy figure lurking nearby. As Erin takes longer than expected, Kemper decides to enter the house in search of her. He explores several rooms, following a sound that turns out to be an old cartoon playing on a television. When he bends down to pick up a bracelet lying near a doorway, a masked figure suddenly appears behind him. It is Leatherface, who strikes Kemper with a sledgehammer and drags his body into a hidden basement behind a metal door. Erin hears the door slam shut and leaves Monty to look for her boyfriend. She notices movement at the peephole of the metal door but cannot open it. Her search is interrupted when Monty, now back in his wheelchair, insists Kemper is not in the house. Erin thanks him and departs. Meanwhile, at the mill, Sheriff Hoyt continues examining the woman's body while interrogating the group. Discovering her empty gun, he conceals it in his sock. He then orders Andy to assist in wrapping the body with plastic while Yedidia watches. Once the body is secured, Andy and Morgan place it in the trunk of Hoyt's car. The sheriff ensures the group knows their way back before leaving. Erin returns shortly afterward, surprised to learn the sheriff has already been there and that no one has seen Kemper. Their conversation is interrupted by a loud noise, a stick wedged in a car horn, causing it to blare continuously. The group panics upon noticing body parts scattered nearby, growing increasingly desperate to leave. While searching the abandoned parking lot, Morgan pretends his arm is trapped in a car, alarming his friends before revealing it was a prank. Inside the vehicle, however, he discovers a jar of water containing 2 photographs, one of the hitchhiker who had taken her own life, and another of her with her family. After a dispute over the van keys, Aaron pockets them and takes Andy back to Monty's house to search for Kemper. In the basement, Leatherface begins working on Kemper. He places him in a tub to remove layers of flesh, then suspends him upside down with chains. A small box falls from Kemper's pocket, revealing a ring he had intended for Aaron. Back at Monty's, Aaron and Andy devise a plan. Aaron will distract Monty outside while Andy sneaks in to search for Kemper. Andy enters the kitchen as Leatherface watches through the peephole. When Andy drops a box, Aaron rushes inside, alerting Monty. Angered, Monty strikes the floor with his cane to summon Leatherface, who bursts through the metal door wielding a chainsaw. Aaron slams the door shut while Andy attempts to retrieve the lug wrench hidden beneath Monty's wheelchair. Leatherface tears through the door, forcing Aaron to flee. Andy confronts him, blocking the first strike with the wrench and knocking him down before escaping. Leatherface pursues, eventually catching Andy, severing his leg, and dragging him back to the basement. The scratches later documented in police reports were left by Andy in desperation. Leatherface impales him on a meat hook, salts his wound, wraps it in butcher paper, and ties it with human hair. He then begins crafting a new mask from human skin, revealing his own deformed face when removing the old one. Andy attempts to free himself but only worsens his injuries due to the booby-trap chains. At the mill, Pepper and Morgan are cleaning the van when Aaron arrives, distraught and unresponsive to their questions. She attempts to start the van but fails, then asks for the gun, only to learn Hoyt has taken it. As if summoned, Hoyt arrives. Initially calm, he changes demeanor upon noticing a joint on the dashboard. He orders the group out of the van, forcing them to lie on the ground while berating them for drug use. When Aaron insists there is a murderer in the house, Hoyt accuses Kemper of killing the hitchhiker. He fires a shot into the floor when Aaron protests. Hoyt then forces Morgan into the van, making him sit in the blood-soaked spot where the hitchhiker had died. Handing Morgan the gun, Hoyt demands he replicate her suicide, correcting him when he misplaces it and forcing the weapon into his mouth. Morgan refuses to pull the trigger. Distracted by Aaron's pleas, Hoyt allows Morgan to seize the moment and aim the gun at him, only to discover it is unloaded. Hoyt calls Morgan a murderer, reclaims the weapon, and forces him out of the van at gunpoint. Taking the keys, Hoyt drives Morgan away, assaulting him with a bottle and breaking his teeth before radioing that 2 girls remain at the mill. At his home, Hoyt throws Morgan into the mud, kicks him repeatedly, and drags him inside.
Hell in the hell!
Back at the mill, Aaron and Pepper attempt to restart the van. Aaron manages to hotwire it, but the vehicle stalls after only a few feet. Leatherface appears, now wearing Kemper's face as a mask, and begins sawing through the van's roof and doors. The girls dodge his attacks, but eventually he carves a hole large enough to reach inside, grabbing Aaron by the hair. Panicked, Pepper flees the van, only to be swiftly killed by Leatherface. Aaron escapes into the woods, pursued by the killer, until she stumbles upon a trailer occupied by 2 women, Henrietta and the tea lady. They allow her inside, explaining they have no phone. They assure Aaron that Leatherface would never enter their home, describing him as a gentle boy afflicted since childhood with a severe skin disease that kept him isolated. Henrietta forces Aaron to drink a cup of tea before tending to her crying baby. As Aaron wanders through the trailer, she begins to feel dizzy and discovers more photographs of the hitchhiker. Suddenly, she hears a phone ringing, revealing that Henrietta had lied about not having one. Aaron realizes the tea was drugged and that the baby belongs to the deceased hitchhiker, stolen by the family. Overcome, she collapses to the floor. When Aaron regains consciousness, she finds herself in the main house, surrounded by the entire family, Leatherface, Luda May, Hoyt, and Monty. Yedidia is present as well, pleading with his grandmother not to harm Aaron, though he is forbidden from entering. Luda May explains that Leatherface has always been bullied for his condition and accuses Aaron of being no different. She orders her son to remove Aaron, and Leatherface drags her into the basement, locking the door behind her. Inside, Aaron is horrified by the remains of Leatherface's victims. She discovers Andy still alive, impaled on a hook, and desperately tries to free him. When escape proves impossible, Andy begs her to end his suffering. After a moment of hesitation, Aaron stabs him, weeping over his body and asking forgiveness before continuing her search for an exit. She then finds Morgan, handcuffed inside a tub but still alive. As Leatherface spies on them through a hole, Yedidia appears and offers to guide them out through a secret passage. Aaron agrees, though she struggles under Morgan's weight. Leatherface storms into the basement with his chainsaw, chasing them through the passage. The trio runs until they reach a staircase, where Morgan's leg becomes trapped in broken wood. Aaron helps him free himself while Leatherface is delayed, first by his chainsaw stalling, then by Aaron kicking him back, and finally by Yedidia biting his hand to distract him. Aaron and Morgan escape, closing the door behind them, but Leatherface quickly breaks through and resumes pursuit. The friends find an abandoned shack in the woods and barricade the door with an old coach. Leatherface saws through the barrier, forcing them to retreat deeper inside. Aaron, still dragging Morgan, attempts to escape through blocked windows until they discover a room with hiding places. Morgan conceals himself in a closet while Aaron crawls into wooden crates. Leatherface enters, searching the room. Aaron watches him through a hole in the wood, and when she believes he has left, she rises, only to be seized by Leatherface's arms breaking through the wall. He drags her back by the hair and throws her to the floor. Morgan seizes the moment, attacking Leatherface and knocking the chainsaw away. The two struggle until Leatherface overpowers Morgan, impaling him on a chandelier and mutilating him with the chainsaw. While Leatherface is occupied, Aaron flees into the woods, gaining distance when he trips over a fence and injures himself with his own weapon. Reaching a road, Aaron desperately signals a passing car, but it speeds away. She continues running until she finds a slaughterhouse, where Leatherface catches up and briefly grabs her. She kicks him off and hides inside a refrigerator behind a meat carcass. Her hiding place is compromised when Leatherface manipulates the chains controlling the hooks, slamming carcasses into her. Her screams reveal her location, and he resumes the chase. Aaron narrowly avoids a chainsaw strike, escapes the fridge, and enters a pig-filled room. There she seizes a meat cleaver and hides inside a locker. When Leatherface arrives, Aaron deliberately makes noise to lure him closer. As he opens the opposite locker, she ambushes him from behind and severs his arm. Unable to wield the chainsaw, he struggles while Aaron escapes back to the road. This time, a truck stops for her. Aaron, traumatized, sits silently, repeating only that she wants to go home. When the trucker drives her back toward the family's house, she panics, attempting unsuccessfully to seize the wheel. The trucker parks outside despite her pleas. Aaron slips out unnoticed, watching him converse with the family, who still possess the hitchhiker's baby. Seizing the opportunity, she begins hotwiring a vehicle. Hoyt approaches the truck, distracted by Henrietta's screams upon realizing the baby is missing. To his shock, Aaron has been hotwiring his own car. She runs him over 3 times before driving away with the baby in the passenger seat. Leatherface suddenly appears on the road, attempting to stop her with his chainsaw, but with only one arm he cannot control it. Aaron escapes. 2 days later, on August 20th, police arrive to investigate the residence. As a recording officer and his cameraman descend into the basement, they are ambushed and killed by Leatherface, who remains at large. The case continues to remain open to this day.